especially if we get a starring hero.
We've got a lot more to go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Luke Wright is back. So, this is quite interesting because you're about to see the Fleet Air Arms Museum in the Southwest, where what you're about to see is general history of our Royal Air Force, of the Air Force, from its beginnings during the First World War to how the Air Force progressed into the Second World War into what we know now, which is quite interesting. And you know, as a country, we've never had as many aircraft carriers and a sheer amount of warplanes as the United States of America, but for an empire and an island country, we've got a pretty mean air force, a pretty powerful, striking air force. Now, we didn't help the Americans when the Midway battle happened. Did you know the United States of America military actually asked the Royal Navy if we could send one of their aircraft carriers to join the American aircraft carriers defending Midway, and our Admiralty said no. They didn't want a spare aircraft carrier to go and help the Americans that were helping us in the Mediterranean. Isn't that weird? Anyways, let's get into it. Yeah, let's get into it.
It's showtime.
So this is the Fleet Air Arms Museum. Thank you. What you're seeing there is Concorde. So that was the first supersonic passenger aircraft that was faster than any other commercial jet in the sky. And you had to pay a lot of money to be on board Concorde. A lot of money.
Door gunners. So look at the front there.
two tiny, really compact turbines. They are the engines. That one exposed there, that's the engine. Oh, is this entire thing? Crazy to think something so small.
Notice how the helicopter's all riveted together. All of it. Even the rotor blades. The rotor blades look so massive. Isn't it strange, the engineering? If you look at a modern warplane, it's all really streamlined. Okay. Harrier. Whoa. That is massive. Absolutely massive. That Harrier is so big. It's just bigger than us. A factor of 3. Whoa. That is just... We are so small compared to it. We're just like a little pea. What you're seeing there is the air-to-air missiles. And then those tanks, maybe they're extra fuel tanks, designed to be dropped. Most of our aircraft is just engines and radar and communications. Very
crazy to think even back in the 80s they had vector-capable missile systems. Holy shit.
Yeah. Whoa. They look scary. That just looks... Harrier just looks quite scary, really. Imagine one of those flying in the sky, you'd be like, what? I'm guessing if that Harrier didn't need the extra fuel tanks, it could have ground-to-ground bombs. 500 kilos, it could just drop. Kill the enemy.
Looks like the door on Concorde is open.
Whoa. That's the other side of the Harrier. So one of the reasons why the Harriers had those extra fuel tanks is because this is designed for aircraft carriers. And sometimes these, imagine this Harrier needs to run a patrol around the warships and the carriers, but they might spend quite a lot of time going round and around the carrier scanning for enemy warplanes. So they would have those extra fuel tanks so they could stay in the air for longer before the next squadron would take over that patrol. So that's probably why you have the extra fuel tanks. And now what you're seeing here is Concorde. Look how streamlined it is. Look at that. It's so streamlined. The way it's just built to just go one direction through the air. Modern commercial jets, you don't see them built like this anymore. It's like rubber gasket. Rubber gasket. It's even got screws. Look at that. It's actual screws around a supersonic commercial aircraft. And it's got screws. Like you find on a motorcycle. It's got screws. There's lots of rivets.
Isn't that the weird thing? Lots of rivets. The amount of... How strange is that? The way it's just designed to cut through the air. Whoa! Just to cut through the air is just...
It says we have to enter from the rear of the aircraft.
Yeah.
I thought we were stick your head in. All the way around to it.
Okay. I'm just taking in, just looking at Concorde. Even the wings are just... Look how massive the wings are.
Imagine building it.
It's just... It's like a... Oh, how do you put it?
Let's go around the back and you can do a tour all the way through this.
So this is a...
This helicopter has sunk 5 enemy vessels.
This is a Lynx Welsh regiment, or Welsh airmen. And as you can see, this is Royal Navy because the rear section folds up. Again, lots of rivets. Those turbo engines. Oh my god. So you could class this as rescue and then emergency. So this would go out to save sailors if they were in the ocean. But also they were used and can use them as troop transports. The airborne forces, so they can drop in land. There were actual times these were equipped with air-to-surface heavy warheads. Yeah. So these would carry 4 air-to-surface anti-ship, anti-warship missiles, massive warheads, and designed to kill enemy warships or kill their troop transports or supply vessels, go and kill their ships. So you'd have radar built into probably the front, scanning where the enemy would be. How it's all riveted together. If you saw a modern aircraft, they just wouldn't be built like this. They would be built more streamlined, less rivets, less panel by panel. It would all be one great big piece, probably because it makes it harder for radar to detect an aircraft, a helicopter. Just imagine all these little rivets here, all that exposure, that's just more for radar to pick up on. But that's how we built war helicopters at the time. Fins. Oh my god, look at that Harrier. That Harrier is just absolutely massive. She is so big. Whoa. Oh, these are really complicated. These were the first warplanes with VTOL engines. The first ones in service. Oh my god, look. heavy machine gun. These were used as troop transports. It's amazing how big they are. And it's not just the Marines, you've got to carry food, ammunition, supplies for when they land. What? Press to unlock and vent. Oh my god, what does that mean? Yeah. Just how massive they are. They look so vulnerable. I mean, it just wouldn't take much weapons fire to take down one of those propellers. It's also really dangerous, so, you know, being really dangerous being Marines and airborne, because all it takes is one round. You can imagine the damage it would do to something like this. Radar, possibly. And you had a lot of this exposed glass like this because we couldn't design helicopters where more was hidden while still giving the pilots a pretty decent view of what's happening around them. Gosh, this looks so complex, so complicated. That must be radar. Scanning for, you know, surface-to-air missiles. Holy crap. Look at this puppy. So this would be ground-based Harriers. You'd have these as general-purpose rain rockets down on the enemy to kill them. Mark 2s. And these massive tanks here, they're usually they usually carry warheads, so you drop the warheads, 500 or 1,000 kilogram warhead down on the enemy armor, infantry on the ground. So this is your, you know, ground support, help the troops on the ground. So big, complexities of it. The advantages with the Harrier was that because they could lift off in the ground and then go where they wanted to, they didn't need airfields in order to be deployed. So these, if necessary, could go into. The whole point of this was the Cold War, was the Soviets. If the Soviets actually invaded and attacked, these Harriers could go into, say, a field where there'd be trucks with fuel and ammo. They could go into a field, rearm and reload, and be back out into the war without needing an airfield. Because that is, when you're in the military, the first thing you're going to think about is how do you destroy the enemy's air forces. You're going to just take out the airfields or bomb the airfields first. So these Harriers could hide. They literally hide and go, hello enemy, and then gun them all down. I think they did have cannons somewhere. Somehow. They did. They didn't just have... Might have been those tubes there. I could cockpit those engines. Oh.
Less than a year after delivery to the Royal Navy, this helicopter saw combat in the Falklands while it was attacked whilst in flight by Argentine aircraft and received serious damage to its rotor blades, part of which is on display. ZA-298 went on to serve for another 30 years, surviving further battle damage in both Gulf Wars, Bosnia and Afghanistan, earning it the title King of the Wonders. It's a hardcore helicopter.
Holy crap. Huh?
And twin machine guns both sides. Was hit by an RPG when they passed through the main cabin, causing major damage and injury to the gunner.
Right there.
Right behind the pilot. You know they were aiming for the pilot. Given 4 hours to recover the Sea King, Petty Officer Neil led a ground crew from Naval Air Squadron to prepare it for an airlift by Chinook. They had 4 hours to prep this. That's all they could secure the area for, so a Chinook could carry it in the air. Holy shit, man. That's crazy.
Right. Imagine that. Big target this would be. Big target. Holy crap. Coast Guard. Ah.
Match it in the bases we have on the wall. Should we go inside that going back to Concord?
Yeah. So the whole point of these here was to test supersonic engines for the military and for the Air Force. Ah, that's why you're not seeing any armaments or air-to-air missiles. Oh my god, look at that engine. That engine is goddamn massive. That is massive. Holy crap. How did that even function? Look at the keys on it. Oh my god.
So this engine never saw production, and it was a VTOL engine designed to be built in Bristol, and it's actually mounted upside down at the moment. But the contract for this was cancelled.
It's so huge.
That is very similar to the undersump of the 999. There would be a filter in there. So complicated, aren't they?
That's massive.
I mean, all it would take is a leaky gasket back there, and there's so much stuff to get out of the way.
Complexities. Look at those joints. Hydraulic lines. More lines, more lines, more lines, more lines. I think that's where the fuel goes in. Oh my god, there's engine. Holy crap. Look at those engines. This was in 1961, and this aircraft was to research the low flying characteristics of the delta wing, which is Concorde above you. So this helped figure out how you could fly a supersonic engine for a commercial jet at low speeds with a supersonic engine. Look how it's just riveted together. I mean, this massive wing. Oh my god, you can actually touch it. Massive wing. What was the beginnings of Coco? And it's aluminium as well. Oh no, it's steel. Look at this, it's steel. Actual rust. It's a battery compartment. How did they build this? All four. And that was the beginnings of being able to create Concorde. Wow. Dangerous. Okay.
Here we go.
This is interesting. Can you actually fly a Harrier jump jet somehow?
Nice work.
Power.
Nice.
Cool.
think. So this was 1910, around that sort of time, and this was probably one of the first engines to ever be fitted to a warplane, by our side at least. 9 cylinders in a configuration like that. Imagine somebody had to work out, how do you even build a crank that would work? The engineering of how it used to be. This one was again, this was Allied, so this was our side, and the reason why the rockets were pointed like that is because back then the German side had what were called Zeppelins, so they were massive airships in the sky, but the problem was that we didn't have surface-to-air anti-aircraft guns that could actually disable or take out on those Zeppelins. So what we built were these rocket-propelled launchers that you would fire at the Zeppelin, because the Zeppelin was full of helium, and then it would ignite the helium, and then bang goes the Zeppelin. The idea was that was our way to be able to kill a Zeppelin in the sky. But look at it. Imagine this could be launched from the sea. Very strange design. Imagine building an engine. Oh, this is just ancient. Yeah. Again, this is one of the first incarnations of a warplane. And it was massive. Aeronautical engineers. This was in 1910. It was based on the original 1910 Short Brothers, but is not airworthy, so this couldn't actually fly in the air. Well, this is interesting. So the idea was that you could have a warship, say a battleship class, and then you could have a ramp. You could actually fly a warplane from. That was the idea of this, on a turret. To actually fly a airplane from a turret. How they figured that out? That was the Zeppelins. The Zeppelins, what they did was they would drop bombs down on the ground. That was the problem. That was back in the First World War. Oh, this is one of the early helicopters. I mean, early. Back in the day, this was futuristic. See how small it is? So the engine's mounted in the middle of the aircraft. Holy crap, that's an actual engine. 9 cylinders. So a lot of this was before turbine engines really started coming into service. So before we had that, we had to use engines like you would do in a car or a motorcycle, but a lot bigger. A lot bigger. That was a 540 horsepower that puppy could generate. Turn those massive rotor blades. I remember back in the day, we were just starting to get helicopters. We were just starting to actually build them. You can see it's like mostly a lot of windows. This was search and rescue for the Navy. Not a lot of room. You had space for one passenger or two, but you just had one pilot. So massive. Oh, this one. Holy crap. Look at where they based the engine. Look how exposed it is. That's scary. Especially if you're a bird and you're just flying around and went into the engine. These are used for reconnaissance on occasion, but apparently those were search and rescue. How that was search and rescue, I have no idea. Oh, crap. Look how much rivets this has. Can you believe it? Look how much rivets that has. And we think a Sea King is very old, out of date technology. Look at this. This was the evolution from that. Massive engine. And this one was a destroyer. Yeah, this was a destroyer. Wow, missile destroyers. So these would have long-range warheads and missiles that could just fire. Oh god, look at that. So this was search and rescue, and was, wow, the engine's up front. Oh my god, the engine's up front. How noisy was this? Imagine being a pilot having to hear this massive, great big. God damn. There's literally dents all over the steel.
So do you remember the Falklands War and the sinking of the Atlantic conveyor by a French Exocet missile fired by the Argentinians? That's what sunk all of our helicopters. This one survived because it was actually in flight at the time, and it was delivering supplies to the other ships. And then when the Atlantic conveyor was destroyed and sunk, this had to go and land on the Falklands. They attached machine guns and rocket pods to the side of it, and it was involved in a lot of the major offensives on the Falkland Islands. It was one of the very few helicopters that we had left, because Atlantic conveyor went down with the loss of 60 odd helicopters. Imagine for the pilots' perspective, looking at fuel getting low and their ship's been sunk, and having to make a decision on where they go, and the only place they can go is into enemy territory and land on the Falklands, hopefully near some of our troops that can give it protection and find a way of fueling it, and that's the survivor. Just imagine being the pilot of that thing, being told your ship's gone down, and being out in the ocean thinking, I got nowhere to land. Where am I going to go? Crazy.
That's where the engine would be. So high. Oh my crap. That's scary.
get into it, you've got to climb on here, onto these steps there, and pull that lever there to open the side.
Whoa.
It's quite a way up if you fell, huh? Especially if it's raining and dark.
Crap. So many rivets, it's just...
So I'm going to assume that that was a photograph of it taking off before the Atlantic conveyor was sunk. I don't know. Fucking crazy. I mean, so many people died on that ship. And that's when our Prime Minister said to the French army, "You had better give us the codes to disarm those Exocet missiles, or we will consider nuking Argentina." And she actually did fly the Vulcans down to the Ascension Islands to nuke Argentina. And the French government then gave us the codes, so every time they fired an Exocet missile, we were able to disable it. It's back in 1982. Can you imagine that? That's my head in, man. It's beyond me, I'm telling you.
Holy crap.
History is scary, isn't it? Especially being part of that. Not knowing what the next step is.
No. Search and rescue. What?
Get a photo for it. Go on, get up the stairs, have a look.
Holy crap.
What is it?
What hydraulic lines you need? Oh, that's electronics.
It's going to drop stuff into the stand there a bit further in the cockpit. Okay, and to drop sonar against submarine.
Holy crap. All those controls. Top mounted controls.
Fuses. All of these round things are fuses. Like they pop up if they're off, push them down for on. There's a lot of controls, you could be honest, going, what? Not as many as on Concorde, huh?
Yeah.
Concorde, oh, I changed my mind now. Look at that.
Yeah, top controls as well.
How many fuses do we need on this thing?
2 pilots required. This would have been used for... Holy crap. Winch. Search and rescue. Sonar. Depth charges. Oh my god, it's a keyboard. Sonar. Radar. Troop transport. This would do a lot of different jobs.
Whoa, this one's lit up in there. What the fuck? Whoa!
Radar and sonar.
Micro switches. Wow. Yeah, so sonar, so they drop it into the ocean, the helicopter would hover, and then they'd be able to detection find the submarine. The information would then be sent back to whoever, and then they would attack that area where the submarine is. Maybe they're locked in position. GEC avionics, but the Russians have low access to stuff, old crappy stuff like that. I just think everything's all autographed.
Huge. The amount of fuel just to power the engine. Holy crap. So this is a torpedo. Right, 1942. The Americans had their own torpedoes, but they had a lot of problems. The American torpedoes would fire and they wouldn't actually detonate. Luke Rice can't remember why, but eventually the Americans had to make changes to their torpedoes that then made them kill and actually hit their targets and detonate. Wow. That's scary.
It drives two propellers, one way, one the other for maximum performance. That's like the thing that helps steer it. I can't remember what it's called. Here's its power unit. And I would have said piston. What's that? Because that looks like a piston to me. I mean, sort of. And then that's where you turn it on, and fuel would go into where whatever its engine is. And this is a fuel tank.
Diesel engine.
I don't know what it is. That a 2-cylinder, 1-cylinder, 2-cylinder, and that is a piston. So I did not know torpedoes are piston powered. Crazy. It's a V12. That's
Holy crap. Whoa. Sea carrier fighter. 2-seater light bomber. Wow. 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 This was designed to be a... God knows. A bomber? This was designed to be a bomber. To be able to be carried on our aircraft carrier. That was the difference. This one... Yeah... These did a lot of damage to our Navy, a lot of damage. Wow. So the whole point of these was to give our Air Force a light strategic bomber. It could be launched from an aircraft carrier. God, look at that. Wow. That's a hell of a photo. Question is, what is that all about? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Oh, that's the intake. That's where the big engine sucks in them. Yeah. But somehow these would fit on an aircraft carrier. It looks too big to be on an aircraft carrier. It just looks a bit big. And these weren't really in service. And that was the thing. You know, we were so behind technologically in the Second World War. We were so far behind. So far.
I guess so, yeah. You know as much as I do, really. I said you know as much as I do, really. That's why we know where we are.
Right. So what you're seeing here, this is quite. This actually looks quite interesting. Wow.
On the first wave, only one aircraft was lost. The second wave consisted of 9 swordfish from all 4 squadrons. Led by Lieutenant Commander John Hill, they took off around 9:20. One aircraft needed minor repairs after a collision
Corsairs.
and took off 20 minutes behind the rest.
Right.
One of the others was forced to return as soon as the attack became driven.
Fascinating.
All of the second wave aimed for the bright glare of the fire started during the first attack. They were seen from 60 miles away and began their own attacks around midnight. Torpedoes were again concentrated against the battleships. Victoria was hit a third time, and carrier drilling was severely damaged.
The idea with this.
Down by the concentrated flak, but this crew were not so lucky. Lieutenants Bailey and Slaughter were killed.
You don't know. So we had the Hurricane and the Spitfire. And the wings don't fold on us.
By 2:38, the attackers landed back on Augustus, and the carrier returned to Alexander.
Look up here, and then go into the carrier.
Okay.
Sunny, walked out of London.
That's that.
Your local council will arrange for collection of all of this valuable waste material. Your household were to take part in the country's war material must help win the war. From now on, under the defence regulations, your local council is required to collect paper and cardboard, household bones, excluding fish, and scrap metal. Britain is menaced to cut off for a time from certain countries which used to send us imported materials. We can no longer afford to bring them in from overseas, or a single ounce of anything that can be produced or saved at home. And that was the beginning of recycling as well. Dried eggs.
United States of America.
We'll go through there and have a look at that boat and see what that scuba diving happens. Dig for victory.
Cool.
How frightening.
Damn.
So that's what downed this aircraft. The bullet went through its main airfield.
Stuka. Look at the wing. Oh, daft. sad. $1997. Goddamn stickers. Bastards bombing us.
Another swordfish was shot down by the concentrated flak, but this crew were not so lucky. Lieutenants Bailey and Slaughter were killed. Incredibly, they were the only British casualties of the night. Captain Boyd had expected to lose half of his crews. By 2:30 a.m., the attackers had landed back on Illustrious, and the carrier returned to Alexandria.
Back on board, there was a short debriefing, and then we had supper, egg and bacon and biscuit, and then to bed, feeling like a true rat. By that time, reaction set in, and I felt absolute to pieces.
Aerial reconnaissance photographs taken the next morning revealed the success of the raid. Half of the Italian battle fleet had been disabled. Oil pools leaking from ruptured fuel tanks highlighted the damaged ships. The Italians withdrew the remains of their fleet to Naples, and the Royal Navy enjoyed much greater freedom in the Mediterranean. The Italian fleet never put to sea again if there was any risk of a British carrier being in the area.
When the fleet airline put 50% of Mussolini's battleships out of action, including one of his two brand new 30 gunners, it meant that our Mediterranean fleet was now numerically superior. Instead, the Italian cruisers and fleet auxiliaries were also smashed.
Admiral Cunningham, Commander-in-Chief Mediterranean, wrote to Taranto. Taranto should be remembered forever as having shown once and for
Didn't know anything like this existed.
Radar, anti-aircraft.
That's going to be for destroying ships, not aircraft. During the Second World War, the predominantly saw action in British waters, the Mediterranean and the Indian and the Pacific Oceans, and it survived running aground, being torpedoed and kamikaze raids by Japanese fighters. Holy crap. Massive turrets on it. I didn't even know we could build something like that. I didn't know it accessed it until today.
What's that? So these were fighters designed to be taken aboard carriers. Carriers, I like carriers. Give us some sort of fighters. Interesting, isn't it? Whoa. Whoa. Damn. So what you're seeing here was what was being produced to be then taken to our carriers. Well, you can tell that because the wings fold. And warplanes where the wings fold back at that time was so that you could fit more warplanes on a carrier. That definitely doesn't have a catalytic converter.
There's a lot of cylinders packed in with a row behind them for maximum power. And then there's these jackets on front cylinders so that the air coming in will then go opposite those, and the rear cylinders will get and that might be really quick.
Talk about an engine. Wow. That is just... wow. I mean, that was one of the problems that our Navy and Air Forces had during the start of the Second World War, because we really had a lot of biplane. We had biplane torpedo bombers, biplane fighters, which were nowhere near as fast and as accurate and as deadly and capable compared to the German land fighters and the Stukas as well. Having a dedicated purposed fighter that was modern, that could be put on our carriers, we needed so much in order to actually take the fight to the Germans. And these served until sometime. God, how much oil does this take? God, I can actually touch it. I can actually touch it. Just looking at it. you're soaring in the air like this, it's like having a super bike. Being free like a bird. It's a very special feeling. Sea Fury. It's a good name. Again, a lot of rivets. That is just... Holy crap. No. What? Holy crap.
Let me show you on the map.
What?
So what you're looking at here, we're here, we're looking out on this. I'm sure of it. Unless you can tell me different. Yeah, we're here looking out on that. This is the actual airport. It's fucking huge.
Wow.
We still power units, generators.
Crap.
Quiet down there.
Wow.
Wow.
Ah, this is where we are supposedly boarding what would be the flight deck of the That's the thing, that's how helicopters work. Actually feel them vibrating.
Although it has hand-formed aluminium, the rest of it is made of canvas and wood.
Somehow that held an warplane together. How? Oh. Yes. So this one was designed to be our modern warplane for our carriers.
In the world's first helicopter borne a soft landing, 450 commanders were landed.
It served from 1942 to 1954. Holy crap, what is that? Look at that! Huh? That's got double.
In 1982, the aircraft carriers HMS Hermes and HMS Yeovilton were at the core of the British task force sent to maintain Falkland Islands following the Argentine invasion. Supported by
So that replaced our World War II fighter carrier. That's made out of aluminium.
Tragically, Daniel was killed 5 days later while making another landing, but his remarkable achievement marked the dawn of the aircraft carrier.
Wow. Feeling. Something different when you actually feel it. Keep well away from intake. Yeah, don't go near the intake, whatever you do. Won't be sucked into it.
Although just 12 bombs were dropped, 9 had been delivered.
This was the first jet engine produced fighter.
Only 1 aircraft made it back to Furious, but the attack
Royal
had a
Navy.
considerable impact on German Zeppelin operations.
You literally have to use these massive tugs just to pull the warplanes. Wow. And this was the next evolution.
On the night of the 11th of November 1940, one of the most significant aircraft carrier operations in history was carried out. 21 very small-fish aircraft launched from HMS Industrious and attacked the Italian naval base at Taranto.
That's actually got a part number, serial number.
The Italian fleet were put out of action, allowing the Royal Navy safer passage through the Mediterranean for the rest of the war.
Cold to the touch. Wow. That is just...
In November 1956, British and French forces landed in Egypt to restore international control over the Suez Canal and bring an end to the Suez crisis. In the world's first helicopter corner-sunk landing, 450 Royal Marine commandos were landed in the
warplane fighter that we had using forward radar. Had radar actually in it. That's why the design changed to this domey shape. That's what the radar is. That's what it's scanning.
Supported by carriers, the Royal Navy were able to deploy troops and equipment 8,000 miles to the South Atlantic and operate a range of aircraft without the need for a land base. Despite being outnumbered, British Aerospace Harrier and Sea Harrier aircraft dominated onto HMS Furious. It was the first time an aircraft had successfully landed onto the deck of a moving ship and proved that launching and recovering aircraft from ships at sea was possible. Tragically, Daniel was killed 5 days later while making another landing, but his remarkable
Oh, that's the problem.
launched from HMS Industrious and attacked the Italian naval base next to Motovlog.
These didn't have.
Ships from the main Italian fleet were put out of action, allowing the Royal Navy safer passage through the Mediterranean for the rest of the war. In November 1946, British and French forces landed in Egypt to restore international control over the Suez Canal and were immense to the Suez crisis.
Yes.
Being the world's first helicopter was still carrying 450 Royal Marine kilometers.
That's right.
In 1982, the aircraft carriers HMS Hermes and HMS Yeovilton were a couple of British defense sent to Antarctica following the Argentine invasion. Supported by the carriers, the Royal Navy were able to deploy troops to combat base and operate a range of aircraft without the need for a land base. Despite being outnumbered, British Aerospace Harrier and Sea Harrier aircraft dominated the operations for future aircraft carriers.
What do you think that did?
On the 2nd of August 1917, Squadron Commander Edwin Dunning landed a Sopwith Pup onto HMS Furious in Scupper Flow. It was the first time an aircraft had successfully landed onto
So,
the
in
deck
the event of a hydraulic failure
that
of
launched
this aircraft, there were on some systems electronic backups. The aircraft did not carry batteries big enough to power them. So, in an emergency, this would pop up. This would pop up. The amount of air coming through there would be insane because this thing wouldn't be slow. Yeah, and that would power the basic electronic systems.
Ah.
You could power the radio. You could probably power other digital and just some basic other systems in order to get some kind of comms going or the ability to have your radar still on. A lot of aircraft have them. So even a lot of commercial aircraft have a similar system, generally located underneath the aircraft. So in the event of some kind of power failure, it gets deployed and it just serves power for as long as you're in flight. Most of them have little propellers, that's quite streamlined. So there you go, a trivia for you.
At a considerable impact on Germany's aerial operations.
It's huge as well.
This sort of.
See why this design didn't work. I bet it was heavy. This is modern aircraft design. You just have a wing up there, whatever it's called, and two wing panels.
On the night of the 11th of November 1940, one of the most significant aircraft carriers
Stand here when the engine's running though.
was carried out.
Get cooked.
Launched from HMS Industrious and attacked the Italian naval base next to Naval. 7 important ships in the Italian fleet were put out of action.
it stores fuel and it has a little tank.
Fuel. It's a fuel storage tank.
In November 1956, British and French forces landed in Egypt to restore international control over the Suez Canal and bring an end to the Suez crisis. In the world's first helicopter-borne soft landing, 450 Royal Marine commanders were landed in
Oh, thank you. That's really cool.
It's really cool. Let's go and have a look at the stuff then.
Despite being outnumbered, British Aerospace Harrier and Sea Harrier aircraft dominated the On the 2nd of August 1970, Squadron Commander Edwin Dunning landed a supply of power onto HMS Harrier's Iskaha flow. It was the first time the aircraft had successfully landed onto the deck of a naval ship and proved that launching an aircraft from ships at sea was
Guessing because of its short range.
Tragically, Dunning was killed 5 days later while making another landing, but his remarkable achievement marked the dawn of the aircraft
Where's
carrier.
the armament? So I'm sure that's really, really good. It's going really, really fast. I love the look of the Harrier, right?
And this was for training. This was to train our fighter bomber, to train our crews before they'd actually go into a warplane. I don't think the Japanese expected that. Oh, Japanese, bomb that shit out of you! How do you like that for your horrors and atrocities? Incredible. There's Bob. Darwin, Australia got attacked. And the Empire just focused on taking the water.
diameter is the sea area between the keel and sill of submarines. During the First World War, Italy was an ally of Britain, and the coastal town of Taranto became the headquarters of the Royal Navy's Aviation Force. An airfield and seaplane station operated at Taranto from 1917 until the armistice. Mussolini came to power in Italy in 1923. Ambitious to control the whole of the Mediterranean, he began to build up a powerful modern navy. Taranto became one of the Italian fleet's major
Apparently something nice on Facebook for you. Like a cake and stuff. It's gone now. You'll see. And he just bloody commented on it. Let's have a look around. It's just lovely.
I love hearing them out.
Eagle with 2 swordfish squadrons, 813 and 824, and a few sea gladiators on board, provided the only air power available to the Mediterranean fleet.
Words are never enough. I don't think she understands that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, can you see through it? Does it do anything? Oh my god, you can! You can see enemy shipping!
What? Oh my god. Oh my god. That's just fucking scary, that is. That is fucking scary. That's very scary.
Sunlight. With goggles, because it would damage your eyes. This light would imitate natural light from the sun, so the crew would be facing and make you blind.
That was the early.
That's hard.
Oh.
That's it better. They had a bridge on the early that was a hole in the deck on the side where they drove the ship.
Always got the Japanese big Japanese guy when they were in the so the Americans said they fly over the town.
Oh right.
There's a massive
Big jab flag in the middle, that's a real mistake, wasn't it?
yeah, so they always knew.
Bomb the right ones, yeah. When that ship we had on the back, the net of the ship, even the small ships, when we went down south and went to the north.
All the people we're seeing on this.
The Fleet Air Arm was soon in action, and over the next 6 years,
Not a single one of
their
them is
actions
alive
across
today.
the world, from the defence of Britain through to the Japanese surrender, would ensure that the battleship would be replaced by the aircraft carrier. In April 1940, Lieutenant Bill Lucy led a skewer attack on the German cruiser Königsberg in Bergen Harbour, the first sinking of a major warship by dipole.
Copper because
A few
it's
weeks later,
a water
the
jacket.
Fleet Air Arm's first sniper race.
So there's
He
your
lost his
history.
life when his skewer was
The copper is the water
combat with a
jacket.
German bomber.
Liquid cooled.
In direct defence of the UK, 56 naval pilots took part in the Battle of Britain.
So it's an engine.
9 of these
Oh, there's the
were
engine
this
sticking out the top there.
which took place over the southeast
Airship with a 1916 engine. Can you imagine if one of these little couplings on the top there, where that bit of rubber gave way and the fuel came out?
Everything may be damaged and, in the words of Admiral Cunningham, changing the face of naval warfare forever. It was the first time the fleet had been attacked in its secure anchorage. The Royal Navy was always hard pressed. In May 1941, it had no option but to try and sink the massive German battleship Bismarck, whose total major Two aircraft carriers were brought into
In later years, they worked on flexible decks for aircraft carriers.
His Swordfish squadron from HMS Victorious into an attack against the Bismarck. Further attacks by our brother squadrons crippled Bismarck and ensured its destruction.
Oh, wow, that's pretty good.
Having just received the DSO for the Bismarck operation, in February 1942, headed to lane 640, Naval was attacked with 3 German warplanes ran for Earth of the English camp. Of the 18 aircraft set out, only 5 were armed. All received ground support. Esmond was awarded hospital Victoria. In spite of the successful sinking of Bismarck, the vital Atlantic convoy was continuously threatened by U-boats. Two new carriers supplied an escort, small merchant ships were converted into merchant aircraft carriers called Naval. They carried very swordfish and these merchant convoys are big aircraft.
Actually built.
Please charge it in time.
Well, we've got about half an hour. Still fairly complicated, isn't it?
Please charge it in time.
Well, it looked very tapes that you enjoyed that little video, and wow, isn't it interesting? And being able to actually touch some of the warplanes, and being able to actually touch the Harrier aircraft variants, and also the transports and helicopters that were used by the carriers when our forces had to fight in Falklands. It was all round pretty interesting. You can have an entire day out literally just touching and looking and seeing all the history of the fleet air arms for our own country. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode. Yeah.
The way we...
The little rascal has spirit. As water.
This is the end of the trail for me.
Thank you.
Thank you, kid.
Can Luke Grimes drink his coffee, yeah? Can you drink his coffee, yeah? Hero, can you drink some coffee? Hero wants to drink some coffee! You guys drink some coffee? Yeah, drink some coffee! Yeah.